every time, okay, good. Every time it's a little like, and record, and we're recording. Okay, so you were saying you had, and now it really is recording. You had a really good point just now, which was you thought like, hey, it'd be cool if people could come in and join.
Absolutely. So I feel that, if we have like a 300 member community who knows that there's a session going to happen, if we have even 10 people as an audience, and if they can real time experience what conversation is happening right now, I think it's like an episode. It's like a series you watch, right? It's like a show you watch. And it's so good to know that, you have been, so for me, I have all the medium writers I know for the last 5 years, I only know names and faces. Most of the times I don't have a chance to, catch up with them on a video call or something. But I think it's great that if we have a community of, say 300 member people, and if even 10 or 15 can just join on mute, and they can firsthand experience the conversation happening between two people, and they get to know. So the conversation is so raw right now, and the experience to go on a YouTube channel and listen to the whole conversation. I think this is even more better to watch it live, like a live video, than compared to going on a channel and then expecting what the kind of conversation would be.
Agreed. I agree. I have to figure out why you even had to be admitted. I did not like that. I would like you to just be able to come in. I don't get it. I got to work on my settings.
No, it's not your settings. I'll tell you what the problem is. So you send me an invite on one email address. My work email address is already logged in right now. So that was a different email address that took the call to join the conversation. And that's why you had to. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't a different email address because I just rebooted my computer and my browser for certain reasons. And then I had logged into only my work ID and not the general ID where you send the invite.
That makes sense.
And I think it's good to not always crash parties rather than be invited. And
it's a great point. Ashwini, you are exactly the opposite time zone of me. I am in San Francisco. It is 9 a.m. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in India. I'm in Bombay, in Mumbai, the capital of India, the financial capital of India, the hub of films, entertainment, Bollywood.
Oh yeah, it's where it's happening. It's happening.
It's happening. Yeah, it's like the New York of India.
Probably. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, have you lived there your whole life?
No, for the last 7 years. I am basically, my hometown is in Gujarat. It's a state, and my city is Ahmedabad. And I've been in Bombay for the last 7 years now. So I moved to this city because I wanted to do social media. And my background in bachelor's have been engineering, which is mechanical engineering. And I then decided that, so I used to, for that 1 month of vacation every semester, I used to go to a call center for a job. And eventually I decided that, I am interested in marketing, and I'm interested in getting to know how marketing works for anything. So at the end of the engineering, there was a realization that, I don't want to do engineering. So, and a lot of people, and I think it's become a joke now that, people who do engineering and eventually they end up doing something else. But if you've read my writing, if you even, assume what kind of person I am, I've always made decisions which make me happy and peaceful and what I like to do in my life. So I was like, okay, engineering is done, but I want to explore marketing. And I did my post-graduation in marketing, and I took digital marketing as my subject in the last semester. And I was like, yeah, I want to do brands. I want to do advertising. I want to see what goes on the other side of advertising and agency. So where I am from, which is a beautiful city called Ahmedabad, the opportunity at that point of time was not, absolutely blooming at that point of time. And there were particular cities, still like a Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, having those opportunities in a better way to start off as a professional. So I started applying in different cities wherever I could get interviews from sitting in Ahmedabad. And I used to wake up every morning and send 60 emails every day to agencies saying, I want to get into digital marketing because I was really passionate about it. So I was very active on social media since then. When I was in college, I used to have my own positivity page on Facebook, and it had some 100,000 followers at that point of time.
Wow, that's impressive.
It had a very sad death because the page was hacked at one point of time, and I've still not, the page, I can still view the page today, but I can still not get it back. I've raised identity issues with Facebook and all, but I've not got it back. The page is ruined. I not even want people to relate it to my name. But because my objective of starting that page was to spread positivity, optimism, always. So the name of the page was always wish good and think positive. So I used to do
Always
quotes.
wish. Wait, what is it? Always wish.
Always wish good and think positive. Please don't go
Always
outside.
wish good and think positive was the name of the page. But unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
like been hacked and you can't get into it anymore.
Yeah. So at that point of time, I
And
was
so
really
you were in college. This was in 2010, you said, when you did this?
this was ideally in probably 2007 to 2010.
2000. Okay. And so it's been 10 years since then.
It's been 10
What
years.
have you been doing? You've just been building, you've been writing. Like, do you work freelance with companies? Like, how does it work for you?
Okay, so at that point of time, I decided that I want to do marketing. I want to do digital marketing, and I will have to move out of my hometown to get a relevant opportunity. So when I was sending those 60 emails every day, there were two companies who actually came out and gave me a chance to come to Bombay and interview. So I was like, I was waiting that Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, whoever calls me first, I'm going to go
And
there.
by the way, listeners, Bombay and Mumbai, same place. It is Mumbai now. We all call it Mumbai.
Yeah. Okay, great. If it reflects like that, but because you have you heard about that quote which says that Mumbai is a city and Bombay is a feeling? Have you ever
Oh, I
heard
love
this
that.
quote? Yeah, it's a very famous quote where people say that because it used to be called Bombay, and for certain reasons now it's called Mumbai.
And for
But
you, do you use Bombay just in certain situations when you think of it? Like, is it a conceptual thing?
so if you see the heart is Bombay, the skin is Mumbai. It's always like that. From
Wow.
the soul is Bombay, and the skin is Mumbai because it's. I would like to elaborate on that because Mumbai gives you a lot and takes even more than that. So if I have to put my experience in one line, a lot of people would have said it in the past, but it takes a lot more than it gives. But I'm always been grateful about all the opportunities, all the acceptance, all the kind of the people there are in Mumbai, and I'm absolutely shocked because the kind of perception about Mumbai is always that it's a fast city, and you're going to get lost between millions of people, and you'll have to make your presence felt, or you'll have to struggle a lot and all of that, and you'll have to wake up in 5 a.m. in the morning and you'll sleep 11 p.m. in the night. You'll have just 4 hours of sleep and all. So there was so many misconceptions before I moved here, and everyone is fearful of moving to a new city, and it's a very new experience. So when I came here and I was like, hey, it's not that bad. And if you are in any city, move to any new city, it's a struggle for you. The first year, you get to know the roads, you get to know the people, you get to know the life, and eventually, it's a two-way thing that I accepted Mumbai, Mumbai accepted me, and 7 years down the line, it's given me a lot. I'm really grateful. While I miss my family who is in Ahmedabad right now and always been, and my mother still after 7 years every day calls me and say that you don't call me back, you don't speak to me, you don't spend time with me.
How far away is that? How far away is your town? Your
I
family's
think
town?
if you fly, it takes an hour. That's it. But by any other modes of transport, it's around 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, that's like LA to San Francisco is the same.
Yeah,
it's far.
Yeah. So, I moved to Bombay at that point of time because I got an opportunity. I started off as a content strategist. I was really happy to know the brand side of it, how it works, marketing, really exciting, fast city, so many people. The first day was it was a shocker because the culture was absolutely different from where I come. And I was sitting like this, and there were one person here, one person here, and all of them are speaking in a probably an alien language to me because it was a culture shock. And the way they converse, the way they work, the way they behave, their body language, and the way of their working, it was too overwhelming for me at that point of time. But
were they speaking English? Was it all English?
No. So it was English. It has always been multicultural. The beauty of Mumbai is that and any city,
every language,
every language, every religion, race, caste, everything.
Yeah.
I have been a person who have never believed in any kind of a race, religion, color, skin, anything. I don't believe anything at all, and that's from my heart because I really love the feeling of community, and I think that is why this call is also happening without even knowing each other. It's the vibe. It's the trust factor. It's the kind of, the writing you do, the kind of content you put, the way you work. It's all vibes at the end of the day. It's vibration. No, it's because
It's all vibes at the end of the day. That is like a real Beautiful Voyager line right there, I've got to say.
Even your publication and your Slack group, when you say Beautiful Voyager, the two very heavy words and light at the same time. They make you feel light, but they are heavy, right? When you say beautiful, it's like beauty, and there's so many definitions to it. When you say Voyager, and it goes to wanderer and travel, and it's so many, the first meanings come out of it, but it's vibe. Invisible illness has always been. I've been a part of Invisible illness for 5 years now, since I started on Medium, and I've always been there. And the best part of it is that it's a safe space, of course, but the kind of people that run it, the kind of people, the kind of content, and how people feel free to come and talk about, their experiences, they write, they're accepted. It's very important to be accepted in this very vulnerable world. It's very important to be accepted, and I think out of hundreds of publications, Invisible Illness is one of those publications where people are accepted without being asked anything. It's very welcoming, and it's not about being here and conversing with you who is a part of Invisible Illness or this Slack community. It's just from my heart, because I've worked with a Juliet. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Ryan, or any other past moderators of that.
These are, by the way, what he's talking about are other editors on the Invisible Illness publication of Medium. So Juliet is an amazing editor. Ryan is a well-known editor on Invisible Illness, and yeah, everyone is.
I think Ryan is still new, because I think 5 years back. Can you recall me some names from the very.
Meredith Arthur. Meredith Arthur is the only. There was Elizabeth Toby, who created the publication, and then it was me alone for years.
Of course, Meredith is. I don't even have to, about that name. That's like given. Okay, yeah, that's done. Then let's move on to this. But I think Ryan is.
There just was nobody else. That's why I love Ryan so much. Now, like, I'm not alone, and now Maria and these other people. It's like amazing.
He's done a fabulous job, and I think even in between his varied views, point of views, and opinions, and what kind of content articles he writes. But I think he absolutely understands the objective and passion and the vision of.
Me too. Oh my goodness, me too. And it's hard to find. You never know. I mean, when he started, I didn't know, and now I'm like, he's amazing, and he totally gets it.
Because I have seen, Brian as a person. I'm like, we have been chatting a lot. I've seen his articles, and he has a lot of opinions which are strong. His writing is beautiful, amazing, and he is one kind of a person who will always experiment and write different stuff. And I'm always like, bro, I always have just one thing to do and clap on your stuff. I was like, wow, too much inspiration. I was like, I'll just keep clapping. I was like, every fucking day his stories will be like, this got curated, that got curated. I was like, bro, please show me your face. And like, I have your article was distributed in this and this.
I have to do this podcast with Ryan. People need to like learn who Ryan is. That's great. It's such a good idea.
So, yeah, that's been a great journey on writing on Medium. I think I keep going on and off, and right now I have pushed myself to be on this conversation, even when you said that are we doing it or not, and when I blocked your calendar on this, because I'm in an absolute hectic stress project right now, where yesterday I had a very long day, because it was a trailer launch of a show I'm leading, which is an entertainment
TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show on Amazon.
So, really? Well, are we going to get to see it soon, or like how does it work?
Next Friday. Yeah.
Amazing. You're going to have to put it in the Slack channel so we can find out which show it was.
Yeah, you will.
So do you do a lot of like Amazon and other brands launches in India? Is that like part of your specialty?
I've recently joined a marketing agency who Amazon has a client on a project basis for shows and all, and on the digital PR part of it. But all my life I've been doing brands. The last 2 years I've spent in entertainment, doing film marketing and show marketing and film awards. And
very cool.
Social media. But yeah, the last 2 years have been entertainment. But uske pehle, this is in Hindi. So uske pehle means before that. For 5 years, I've been doing brands and digital advertising for brands, only for brands. So it
Okay.
has been from lifestyle brands or fashion brands or FMCG brands. So I've been doing advertising a lot of time. But after 5 years, I was like, I don't want to do advertising. I'm passionate about films, I'm passionate about entertainment, cinema, how the storytelling works and how content works on digital platforms now. So I want to get into the entertainment part of it. You know, how we pivot in life, basically. Right now, I don't want to do this. I know that the core as a digital will stay same, but I want to explore the same width and take my experience of digital for brands to entertainment and cinema. So the last 2 years have been.
My sense is you're so good at
Mm,
this, by the way. You're
yeah.
so good at finding like the right people, getting in touch, writing, and like making just sort of being social. I mean, you're just so good at it. The second you joined the channel, you were
Yeah.
just very yourself and very like it's almost like you become known really quickly, is my sense.
So yeah, so that's what my even my wife keeps saying, that you are not a social butterfly, but you are
Yeah.
so good with people. You're so good with people. It's so, see, there are too many definitions to social butterfly as well, where people socialize for work or for just their own. But my way of socializing is actually being there for people. I
Yes,
mean,
I can see that. So you
it's
know what? One of my questions was, how do you want to be a lighthouse for others? And I guess that's a question for you, is like what acceptance. I heard like accepting people, but what is important to you about being a lighthouse?
See, I think, when we say that, even if you may bring a change in one person's life, your purpose of your life is, reached. I think when you come to a definition of being a lighthouse, it's like it's an ongoing process. It's never going to stop at one person. It's never going to stop at 100%. It's never going to stop at 1,000 people. It's going to be a way of life, and that is something I've always been doing. Matlab, it's not about kind of boasting or telling what I've been doing for people, because I know what I will do and how people will know me, or how people will actually gauge what kind of vibe I bring, or what kind of mindset or heart set. It's a new word. I'm making it now. It's a heart set. When you say
I love
mindset,
that. Instead of mindset, heart set.
heart set is how people look at me. And there's some people who do things in their own way. It may be materialistic, it may be donation, it may be anything. My thing is that nothing is small and nothing is ever measurable when it comes to being a lighthouse. If I have to be a lighthouse, I have to keep doing. It may be of any capacity, it may be of any potential, it may be of just being of value in this moment. If this 1 hour of conversation makes you happy for one day, it's one check for me. So
It's
for
making
being
me so happy right now, by the way. I feel like you're making me feel so good. Just in terms of how you approach this. Thank you so much.
so every day, if it's not one person, if it's also a message. So I would not want to disclose certain person's name, but probably a very high profile celebrity who would be recently getting a lot of hate and dislike on social media platforms for whatever reason, and we follow each other. So one fine day, last 2 3 days, I felt like, people of every stature go through a lot of different struggles in life. But at this point of time, if I'm connected to that person, and if I know that person is going through a lot on social media, in real life, for whatever reason, if I have the privilege of reaching out to that person and making that person smile for one moment, it's my, probably say, a moral responsibility or accountability, because I know I cannot do 100 people a day. And if I reach out to this person who has millions of followers right now, and millions of messages would be dropping out, it would be fine if he or she reads it. And I sent a message randomly to that person, a celebrity, on a direct message, and said, I know that you're going through a lot of hate on social media, and I know it's not easy. I know where you come from, and I just thought of dropping you this message, because I know the amount of things you are facing right now on social media, and possibly, if possible, just go off sometime. And I said that, I maybe no one right now to tell you what to do, but I just felt like saying it because I think you need it. And that person replied to me in 5 minutes on my direct message saying that, thank you for reaching out to me because not many have.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that person has millions of followers, trust me,
Right.
man.
That's
Millions.
amazing.
And that person has someone who is reaching out to him or her and telling them that, not many have. While that person I know would call up one call and there would be like anything and everything
It
happening for
seems
that.
like it can be very isolating though too. Is my
Absolutely.
sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. So coming back to your original question, when it comes to being a lighthouse, it's a way of life for me that I have to keep doing as much as I can. If I can spend $1, today I can spend $1 for someone, tomorrow I can spend 100. And it's I think for me as a person, I'm what, a 30-year-old, but money has a survival value, which I've realized finally, that I have to survive and I need money for that. But at one point of time, I feel that, I had tweeted one thing recently, that everything I'm doing right now except writing poetry is a side job for me,
Wow.
including my full-time job. So when it comes to what heart I have, it is about emotions, it is about helping others, it is about being there for people who I can, having such conversations where people can be healed just through vibes and words, and being there for, because there are a lot of people, and as a community, all of us know, not this 300 people, thousands of people on Invisible Illness, people are pouring their heart out, and I just, I'm saying this, I'm having goosebumps right now, the kind of suffering they have, the kind of their mental health, the mind state they have. Oh my God, the world needs healing as fuck right now. Sorry for the
I
language, but
know.
it is.
The
We
world
have
needs healing as fuck. So true. So
we have
true.
no idea how many people. When I feel that I don't have anything which I need and I deserve, because a human mindset will always say I deserve this thing. Why don't I have this? The exact next moment I will say that I have thousands of people who don't have as much as I have, and there are thousands of people that there will be, millions of people who have more than me. But there's only one way of looking at life to survive and exist and be happy, is that still at this point of time I have a lot more than 50% of the people in the entire world, and that is what keeps me grounded. So to sum it up, yeah, being a lighthouse is a way of life, and I would in my entire capacity will be able to light people's life for real, through whatever way I can. And it can be conversations, it can be whatever finance, it can be guiding them, it can be taking, motivating them, inspiring them to do something they like or love in their life. And if they start doing it in life, and if they become more successful than me, I'll be happier than them.
That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Is there any topic that you would like to speak about that you don't often get a chance to? Is there anything that like you always wish you could talk about more, or?
I think there's a very I think a lot of things were covered in the previous answer, but and I know that a lot of conversations are happening right now on empathy and compassion and humanity and race and religion and all of that in my country and other countries in the world, because I have never considered a country or a caste or a race or a person as something different from me. I'm a human, you are a human. It's just the appearance that the superpower has made different, right? At the end, we are just a soul talking to a soul. So I really, if I want to talk about something, it will always be empathy, it will always be compassion, it will always be humanity, that I will never stop talking about. If someone gives me a chance to speak for 2 minutes, I will always make sure that I know that if even 10 people on your YouTube channel will watch this, I would want them to understand this as a recall, as an existence, as a survival, that empathy is the only thing that will keep you going, and that will help others to make the world a better place. So
Do you
never.
remember a moment, Ashwini, where you like learned that? I mean, has this always been you, or did something change, or like what helped you get there?
See, number one thing, I would always like to credit my family, where I'm brought up, the values, my parents, my grandparents, my entire extended family, who has always been. It's in the roots. One thing, it's in the roots. Two things is the hard experiences you have in life. So first thing is, yes, my family. I've been brought up in a beautiful family. I have loving parents. I have siblings. I have a great extended family, who understands how everything what I have as a thought process right now works and believes in the same. At least I'll say 70% of my family would believe in what I'm saying right now and will be absolutely happy to watch this video if I share them, and they will know that why I'm speaking this, because it is in my roots, it is in my blood. So one thing is that, and second thing is that, I spent say 25 years in my home with my family. Probably in out of 30, there were 24 years I spent at home. And you know what, when they say woke, like for 24 years and 25 years, I felt I was sleeping, and I have absolutely no idea what life is all about, struggle is all about. I'm studying, I'm at home, I don't understand what it means to be a child or a son or a person in a family, and how much responsible I have to be. When I got out of home, absolutely, like 99% of other people who most of the times realize that when you go out of your home, you actually understand what survival is or what existence is, or how good or bad you should be to the world. See, when I came to this city, my parents had as the biggest worry for my parents were my company, my friends, the people I meet, the people I'm around, because it's a very scary place. If you see, I won't say like a New York is also as scary as a Mumbai or something, but
Yeah,
there's
I can imagine. I moved to New York when I was 20
so there's
something,
so
23 or something, and I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, so there are circles, there are people, there's environment. So every parent will be, at least in India, I'll tell you, it's 18 or 58. You will be a child for your parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where you go, they will be concerned. They will want to know where you are and what you're doing and how you are and if you have your food or not.
Whether you're 18 or 58, parents in India want to know where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, and
That's
it's not,
hilarious.
it's not about invasion of privacy. It's about care. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to react to that
absolutely.
fact that matlab, it can be hilarious for people outside India, but at one point of time it becomes a pain. But at one point of time, when you grow up and when you actually feel isolated and you have no
Oh,
one to talk to,
absolutely. Yeah.
you will know why your family will be there. You will know what your
Yeah.
parents did for you. You will know why you want to even, fucking leave everything and go back and stay with your parents for whatever years they have left in their life. Because right now, when I'm in a fast-paced, young phase of my life, and I'm doing everything to make my life for the next 20 years, I know my parents are aging. And every day, every time I realize this, it's shaking me up inside that I just want to go back to my hometown and stay with them. And I'm okay with living a survival life than a very happy, successful life monetarily or growth wise, because I'll be very happy to go back and serve them for whatever life they have. Because now at 30, I realize what they've done for me. For me to
Yeah.
reach,
My sister-in-law moved back uh to her hometown 15 years ago because she wanted to be with her parents, and her father died recently, and she said, I'm just so thankful I was back
you
for
are
that
back.
time with him. So I know exactly what you mean.
90% of and 95% of my family is outside India. They're across
Oh.
everywhere. They're in US, in Chicago. There's in recently my sister moved to Charlottesville in
Mm-hmm.
Virginia. 95% of mine is out of India. It's fine, but they carry the roots. Wherever they go,
Absolutely.
they make their family, they make their circle, and it's not about even in India, US. It's about how you grow up and where you grow up. There are
Definitely.
broken families,
Definitely.
there are normal families, there are you know even overprotective families. There are families who don't care about their children. There will be every kind of a person, people, family, generation. It will change with generation. It will always evolve with the world and what it needs. So I don't know if I'm making sense right now,
No, you are.
but
I mean, when I was in my 20s, I had a couple of very close friends who are Indian, and their parents and in-laws moved in with them in the US.
hmm,
And when they first got married in their 20s, and I remember thinking like, okay, I couldn't do that, but I mean, I get it. I mean, I kind of get it. Now I really get it. Now that like their kids are like 10 years old and they've been living with, the extended family, it feels like, oh, they have their whole little group. They're all together. It's pretty amazing.
my uncles and my extended family, as I was telling you, they have been in US and parts of US and other countries for their whole life. So the good part for me is that I grew up in India. I know my culture. 90% of my family is outside India. So I have exposure to that culture
Oh,
also.
yeah.
And there is good or bad to everything. But I know what
Absolutely.
choice I have to make. At least I have exposure of everything around the world, and I know what choice I have to make, which will make my life easier and happy, and what I want to do in life.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting that internet has made the world a small, it's made the world a small place to be and connect with so many beautiful people around the world, have such conversations. I mean, never would have thought that, I'd join a Slack group immediately, and then
I know,
I'll
amazing.
Juliet, and I'll be on the third episode of this amazing show, and I'll be pouring my heart out like this. And it's really important for me because I've not have been having a really good time in the last, say, 6 months. It's been tough. It's been tough for everyone, but while I talk about the privilege and I'm grateful for everything I have, I still have a job, fortunately, and it's going good. I'm doing good work, and I'm being appreciated. I'm earning a living. I have a house. I have a roof. I'm being grateful, but mental health never has one reason.
Right. I know. Do
It will never,
you think are you an overthinker?
absolutely, absolutely, and it has created a lot of problems. It's just a lot of problems for me, for a person who is feeling it and cannot express everything to anyone in the world, who are even if the closest person, and it will bother you till you either ignore it or you solve it or you get a closure. And closure is the most impossible thing of this life.
I know. I totally know. It's
Half of
true.
the things you will never get closure in life,
I
and that
know.
is something which will bother overthinkers the most. But
I
I
know.
think I find joy in the smallest things. Maybe something I really worked hard on, and I actually made it to something I wanted to do, or 4 times I failed of something, but I laugh it off. Then eventually it will happen years after, and I'll be like, I actually had a tough time accepting this fact. But as an overthinker, yes, emotionally it's draining because I'm a very emotional person. It's absolutely exhausting because to have the work stress and let it affect your emotions and the people you work with, then you have emotional stress related to your family when you get affected, and there is
I
emotional
know.
stress which is absolutely individual, because you think 60,000 thoughts in a day, which will have work, which will have family, which will have people, distance, world, news, situations in the world, people dying, nature, global warming, racism. There's so much information we are
It's so
exposed to.
much. It's
It's
so much.
unbelievable. It's
I know.
unbelievable.
I know. I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, I want to be like the same thing you
And
do, which is like, oh,
the and the I would not say unfortunate because it makes me a living, but the part is that I work in social media, I work in marketing, I
yeah,
work in
yeah.
digital
It's
marketing.
stressful. Oh my
I
God,
have
it's so
to,
stressful.
even if I don't want to, I will be exposed to a lot of information. Right
Yeah.
now, social media is the news channel. We don't have cable at home for like the, I think, maximum number of amount of years, because we don't want, one, we don't get time to watch
Yeah.
television.
You don't need more. You don't need more.
We don't need, and everyone is like, Netflix and chill, or Prime Video and chill, and everything is happening there. So either we watch shows or we watch something else, or in weekend one day we'll just do household chores, and one day we'll just go out for something. And go out something was like a thing of past now, fucking 6 months ago, being at home and not being able to do whatever the global pandemic is happening. But it's really kind of scarily hilarious that we are aging day by day, and like I'm 30. Okay, wow, when this happened? and uh, and I'll tell you a fun fact. I think never got a chance to tell anyone, but this is the longest hair I've ever grown in my life.
I think it looks great. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
and
keep it long?
yeah, I will definitely. My wife is like, no, I'm not getting a haircut at all.
Good.
and
It
and it
looks
is,
very good. You should definitely keep your long hair.
yeah, and I was so stressed in life that I'm aging, and life is getting over, and there's nothing good in life and all of that. And due to this pandemic, in 3-4 months I got long hair, and one day I was looking at myself and I was like, oh fuck, I'm still young, bro.
You're
It's
so young.
I
You're
have black
still
hair.
young, bro. You're so young.
I'm like, I have black long hair. I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, we have
Good.
2-3 decades to go.
Oh my,
And
I
I was,
love that. I love that.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot of realizations in the lockdown, in the pandemic, and in the way we empathize with people. So we coming back to empathy as one thing, I will always keep going on and on and on. Please be kind to people. Please be kind.
Do you
That's the
find, since you're such an empathetic person, do you find that you get a lot out of being empathetic too? Like, how does it help you as well to feel better?
At one point of time I felt that it was healing me too as well,
But not
but
as much now. You don't feel that as much now?
not as much now, because I think we have this habit of finding faults in ourselves as well.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, I'm not feeling good because I have 100 things in my mind, and that's why
I
being empathetic
know.
to
I
someone,
know. My book
I'm
is called Get Out of My Head because it's the hardest thing to do. Getting
so
out of
I'll
your
be
head
like,
is the hardest thing to do.
agree, agree. So I'll be like, sometimes it becomes normal, and it's part of your nature that you are empathetic, you're compassionate, you do good for people, and it becomes your nature. It's a habit. So when you have a habit, you form a habit, and it becomes the new normal for you. And at one point of time we'll be like, it is normal for me, so what, I did good for someone and it's fine, it's not a big deal, it's
Mm-hmm.
humanity. You were kind to someone who was rude to you, it was your responsibility, it was your nature. You move on to the fucking stress part of life again and again and again and again. And
It's
that's
so
crazy.
true.
That's crazy. So but still the one good part is that at least when I will close my eyes and I'll pray 2 minutes for a Meredith who has a good life and is happy all the time, and I feel that whatever struggle she's facing would, she'll be happy for that. For that 2 minutes I will feel that yes, okay, I'm calm, okay, I'm doing good, it's fine, I
Good.
have the senses to think, to pray for someone's good, to actually have the power to send vibrations 1,000 miles away, right away. And that is
I
what
mean,
will
one
make
of the channels in the Beautiful Voyager Slack is Wonderful Win, 1D Win.
what you
And the
yeah.
reason it's there is because if you really have to actively remember and put yourself in the feeling of something good you did.
Yeah.
And it could be this conversation that I really enjoyed this conversation and this was so great, but just sort of saying to yourself, like, this was great, I enjoyed this, and you have to like keep programming that.
But my so that's a very beautiful point, which reminds me of one thing, that also this realization, when I read so many stories, probably even on an invisible illness or anything across the internet on mental health, one thing I feel that there are so many illnesses related to mental health, and there are so many names to it. There's so many ways of being mentally ill, right? So I feel grateful that I am sad, I am gloomy, I may be depressed, but I know these parts of it. There are
Mm.
100 more
Oh,
illnesses
absolutely.
which I have no idea about and what people are going through. So I have to be
Yeah.
thankful that I have lost my mind for a while, but I can go back to normal. If I have 2 days, I will disconnect and take a
Yeah.
break and I'll be normal. That is also a capacity and a gift which I have still right now to get back to a normal living. And that also 50% of people might not have. And
Yeah.
it's a very hard fact to accept and be grateful about life. And I think everyone who will watch this video and can also realize as much as me that being sad, being lonely, being depressed, or 2 or 3 things is just the tip of the iceberg. You will realize how much you have and how much you should be grateful for in life. And
Mm.
I'm not
That's so
being
well
deep.
put. That's so well put. When you start to understand like the full spectrum of experience and you can contextualize your own and it's not everything,
Yeah,
you really start to get perspective. And that's the hardest part about mental health in general is perspective.
I've been evolving every single day by the kind of content I read, or if about the illnesses I read, and I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
I cannot even pronounce it correctly, and people are going through it.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
And
and
so many people don't realize. I think
yeah,
about that with OCD a lot. Like
yeah,
if you're a little kid and you have intrusive thoughts, like how much
yeah,
harder that is for people who have OCD their entire childhood. They don't understand like this
yeah,
is okay. It's okay. Like
it's fine.
you
And
fear you're going to kill your parents. That's just an intrusive thought. That is like another form of anxiety. It's okay.
And imagine, matlab, for a person like me, till probably say the last year, I've never had anxiety. This new probably say work, or the first time ever I got good people to work with, but the stress is so much that for the first time I'm giving my 200% to this place and the work I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it also. But this is the first time I've ever probably have had got full level of anxiety experience. And I'm
How
like,
does it show itself, Ashwini? Like, what happens to you that like, oh, this is anxiety?
so no, I think I would have read up about symptoms on this, but I would never go by the symptoms and the feeling, because I know I've never felt anxious like this ever before in my life. And it is about that extreme end of helplessness, the
Mm.
not the losing the control of not being able to not cry.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot stop yourself from crying at that point of time, or probably you would want to just put yourself in a room and just be like, I don't want to face the world right now. And I've gone through this in the last past 6 months or 1 year, and it's not about the global situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's about my own personal life or work life stress, or giving myself 200% to the workplace or my personal life. And it's crazy because anxiety as a word we will be using very normally,
I
like for
know.
other people it's very normal, अरे ठीक है anxiety है तुमको, तुम ये कर लो, it's okay, it will be fine. It's not. Even when you say an OCD, I have become so conscious of the words I choose in my life right now, and I've been educating about this to my own colleagues and my people in my family, where it's not easy to say कि it's just depression or it's just mental health or it's just OCD or anxiety or whatever it is. You have to be careful. You never know how those words or experiences are going to trigger other
Absolutely. I
people
mean, it's a spectrum, and everyone falls in different places on the spectrum and interprets things differently.
differently.
And
Absolutely.
their relationship is so different. Like, my
Absolutely.
relationship now is so different with anxiety than it was 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that person will never even come and tell you that your this word particularly made me feel like that. They will not
Mm.
have the
Well,
courage
they'll
or
just maybe have it
they
inside.
will have it inside and you will never know.
I've
And
learned so much about mental health from reading the essays for
yeah,
invisible illness. It's
absolutely.
amazing. I mean,
It's
the world of OCD in particular, I've learned so much, and I so want people to understand. That's why I bring up intrusive thoughts, because many people don't understand that that's normal. If you have OCD, like, intrusive thoughts are normal. And I just, sharing these little bits of information is just, it seems, is so important.
I think the one of the very when I think you had a question where you have what is a 1D win for you.
Yeah. My last question is always, what is your latest 1D win?
I know I just recalled of that question, and I was going to share an experience about something else, but that question just ran over my mind. I wanted to say that, forget 2 1D wins or 1 1D win. I think a 1D win for me personally, in a detailed explanation, would be when I'm able to convince a person that I am safe space and you can talk to me, and
That's amazing.
they start speaking to me in length, and I actually pay attention to it. I focus toward the problem is and try help them, and I also respond to them in a detailed manner, and not like it's fine, it'll be happy, it's okay, it'll be fine. I start to get into the mind of that person because they matter to me, and it's the biggest 1D win for me ever if I make someone comfortable enough to trust me to come and talk to me in details about how they feel or what they're going through or what their problems is. I think there's no bigger an achievement for an emotional person who someone trusts. And I know, trust is such an abused word, but when you come to look at the depth of that meaning, the real trust, the real truth, I've got 10 friends who will, not speak to anyone in the world, in their life, their friends, their family, anyone. They will come to me and write me detailed messages and will wait for me. And they will not have expectations for me to read or comment on it, but they will trust me to pour their heart out with me. And I think that's the biggest
I
one.
can imagine that many people would do that with you.
Yeah.
And I think
And
if people see this video, they'll feel the same way.
and I feel it's good, and I feel fortunate enough to be the source of light for them, the lighthouse.
You totally.
Yeah, because I think somewhere that the purpose of me being born and coming here in this world, and being able to in my whole life able to heal, you said 200 to 1,000 people at one point of time. Like my 50 years are fucking worth. That's it. That's like 200. If 1,000 people, that's like 20 people a year I'm healing. That's like, it's a Wanty win.
That's so great. Thank you. I know you have so much work to do. I want you to get some sleep too. It's 10 o'clock your time.
Yes, I'm just gonna have.
I cannot thank you enough for this. Thank you.
And if you like, I can be on another episode where I'm less tired and less shabby and
you look great. You look great. Look at that smile. You look great. Keep that hair growing.
I'm kidding. It's not about being shabby, because I told you now I've reached the stage that I don't care. And when you said that let's do it, I combed my hair and like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
That was awesome. That is like that's my approach on this whole thing. I'm like, let's fucking do it. We got to do this. We're doing this. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. Great.
Bye. It was great to talk to you. Take care.
Same here. Take care.